to another episode
of POV with Hailey and Brie.
This week we have special guest Taylor West. Just kidding, Taylor Ring.
Whoa.
Oh man, she's probably slipping. She's probably slipping.
Nope, it's okay. I haven't slipped that much, but
Taylor Ring. Sorry,
too funny.
When I met her, it was Taylor West.
That's
She's
true.
now since married, and now it's Taylor Ring.
That's
so
funny.
sorry. I don't know.
West?
It's just got a good ring. Literally, a good ring to it. It's
yeah, that
literally.
happens a lot actually.
Yeah, so sorry. So sorry.
No worries.
That's good.
Oh,
But we have
so
Taylor here, who's one of our good friends.
Yeah.
And she's here to talk about family life and how you manage all the craziness and how you make dreams. And so we're very excited to have Taylor. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course.
We have a list of people and you were on them. So
You're on the list.
yes. So Taylor, we want to know, we start every episode off by asking how you're doing on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being terrible day, 10 being best day ever.
Definitely not the best day ever.
Okay.
Definitely not the worst day ever.
Okay.
I say maybe like if 5 is mediocre, maybe like a 3.5 to a 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my baby's sick right now,
Yeah.
so that always puts a damper on
Yeah.
things. But everything else is fine. So I
Yeah.
guess there's a little bit of a deficit from average just because
Sure.
of that.
Yeah, that's always hard and scary sometimes. So.
Yeah. Luckily, she's chill.
She's
No
chill.
RSV or COVID or anything.
Good.
So
That's good.
How do you test a baby for COVID?
same way. Do the
the
nose
saliva.
swabs.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. Haley, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm probably like a 7.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
bad. Just here.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sevens are a
Seven's
good average number.
Yeah.
I think that's what I am too. 7 wasn't the greatest day ever, but it wasn't a terrible day. So I got to get home around 4 today
That's good.
again, so that was nice. But work has been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's the season, right?
it's the season.
Literally.
Mhm.
Yeah. So question of the week for you, Taylor.
Okay.
If you had to choose between only ever eating Thanksgiving foods for the rest of your life
Okay.
or only ever eating, Easter foods for the rest of your life, or we'll add in, since it's the season, Christmas foods,
Define Easter food.
Yeah.
like ham. Like, well,
But
my
people
family
don't
eats
have ham on Christmas.
Okay, well, Easter, Christmas. That's why I was like, okay, let's put Christmas,
Just
because
do
they're very
Christmas.
similar.
Just do Christmas.
Should we just do Christmas?
Just do Christmas.
Okay, Christmas or Thanksgiving foods?
All right. And then what's the difference between Christmas and Thanksgiving food?
We'll say like
So ham and like decorative cookies, okay, versus turkey and pumpkin pie.
But like mashed potatoes, green beans.
Yeah, probably all very similar.
Okay. Okay.
We're talking main dish here.
darn.
Main dish. Yeah. Not the biggest fan of ham.
Okay.
Not the biggest fan of turkey.
Okay.
But I'll take a turkey over ham. So I
Interesting.
guess Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but you're gonna be living rough if you don't like turkey or ham. So those are rough decisions.
I mean, that's my life.
Yeah,
I've been doing that.
but only one day of the year.
Yeah, one day of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'd learn to love turkey.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to.
Yeah.
Haley, what about you?
Really like ham, so probably Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I know I said that ham was a Christmas food, but for our young adults Friendsgiving, one of them brought a whole as heck ham, and it was the best thing. So I definitely would say ham.
I feel like it's not uncommon to have ham at
Yeah, I
Thanksgiving.
guess
I
so.
think it just depends on the preference.
I'm just thinking like classic Thanksgiving is definitely turkey.
Yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
So that's where I was going with. But basically turkey or ham was the question. Okay, Taylor, we're gonna get into all about Taylor. We're gonna talk about all our families too. So
Good,
feel free
good.
to ask us questions.
Conversation.
Yeah. Conversation. But so our viewers can get to know you a little bit more. Tell us a little bit about you, like who you are. Tell us about your family, and if you have a fun fact for us, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. About me, I grew up in like 2 cities over.
Okay.
And then, so I didn't go very far. I went to Biola University. So
Yes.
many viewers out there are Biola alum. Like, please whoop whoop, shout out. Fun fact: my husband, who I'll get to later, graduated from GCU.
Heyo.
So yeah, so that's been a fun thing. What else is there? I guess Biola was really formative for me, and I have a lot of pride in that school. I studied intercultural studies, so I fully intended on going into missions full time.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not doing that. I currently work in fundraising, which in retrospect, like I feel like it's kind of really similar because missionaries generally do have to raise funds anyway. And that was ironically the one part of like being a missionary that scared me the most. So the fact that it came back and swung harder on like that one fear, super funny. What else? So I am married for 3.5 years. I have a baby who just turned 8 months old. But me and my husband have been together for almost 6 years. So yeah. What else?
Do you have a fun fact?
Fun fact.
If not, it's okay.
I'm just trying to think. I guess my fun fact is like growing up, and I think the generation is just really different. Like I guess my phenotype, what I look like, isn't actually like what I am. So I'm biracial. My dad's black and my mom's Mexican, but I grew up in a very like white neighborhood. So like when people hear my maiden name, Taylor West, even like subs would always think I was a white male. So,
male. That's interesting.
Yeah, because Taylor, can be either or.
But I know more girl Taylors than I.
Yeah, I guess. But that was, everyone was always like, are you sure? Like
Double-check.
looking up from their paper attendance, back in the day. So yeah, that's my fun fact. So generally, like, I think it's way less appropriate to like ask people what their background is now, but growing up, people are always like, oh, are you Polynesian? Are you Indian? And no, like people just like it didn't occur to people to think biracial.
Yeah.
So that's my fun fact.
That's a fun fact. All right, so we're gonna go into a little bit about family and our childhood families and what our dreams and your dream is for your now family of 3. But I guess starting off, like, what was our family's kind of like core values? Like, what I guess made your family, or what was an aspect of your family that really sticks out in your mind when you're thinking back to your families?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would probably say that I don't know how. I'm curious to see how my parents would define that. Or like what they wanted to instill in as a core value, or if they were even intentional about that.
Sure.
But from my child perspective, I got that like obedience was really important. Like, you need to listen to me because I'm an adult. You may not understand. That doesn't matter. Listen.
Yeah.
So that was a core value.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah.
I think my parents were just talking about this the other day, and I think respect was instilled in us a lot, and it was just like, you need to be respectful to everybody, like adults, like kids, elderly, like everybody. You just need to be a respectful person, and I think growing up, I don't think my parents really saw that much, because we were just, it's one of those where it's like, oh, well, you're nice to everybody else, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I think my mom working in a school district and my, dad being a police officer, and like them coming with, like handling kids and doing all kinds of things, and even just like people that they see, like, I don't know, around the places that they are, they're like, man, this is not a common practice that people teach kids, I guess, these days. And so,
or they're just rebelling.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I work at a school too, so I see it firsthand, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. But it's just, different parenting styles, and, different, there's millennials and everybody, and I don't know, everybody, but it's so interesting to see, I guess. Yeah.
I know.
What about you?
I can't think of like the word to put to it, because like the word I think of is like family was like a value. So like, you know, we would always have, we would celebrate every single cousin's birthday. You know, we were always together with extended family for like every single holiday. And like if you weren't, you were like bullied, not bullied, but like playfully bullied into coming. And we still do that. Someone's not coming to New Year's, we're like, where the heck are you, kind of thing. So I think like family and like quality time was a really big value growing up. And so yeah, it's been interesting, like being not, I guess, living with family and kind of having to not redefine my family, but like try to find family here, because that's been like friends. So I don't know, it's been cool to like kind of see things shift. Speaking of shifting, Taylor, with you being married and having a, actually let's go through the stages, because I would love to go through the stages, because you had like what, like 2 years or 2 years with Tucker before you had Avery, or how long were you married?
Yeah, so like, I mean, yeah, but we dated for a year.
Right.
And then we got engaged.
Okay.
And then we had another year, and then we got married. And then we were together for, like, married for 2 years.
Okay.
Before we got pregnant.
Right.
So we had, like, 4 years of, like, quality time.
Yeah.
But 2 years of marriage.
So how was that family of you and Tucker? Like, how did you find yourself having to break away from your in-laws or like your family at all, and like kind of start making you and Tucker a family kind of thing?
Yeah. It's really interesting. I feel like both me and Tucker would answer that differently, and that was only made apparent recently in having Avery, my daughter. I feel like the second we got married, we became our own little unit. Like, even though it was just us two, it was like, we're making decisions for our little family. I want to start making traditions. I want to start doing that stuff. But for my husband, he still saw himself as an extension of his extended family. So that, like, sequestering off our own, like, little family or, like, creating traditions and stuff didn't, like, never occurred to his mind. And the reason why I'm observing that is because now that we have our daughter, I'm seeing that shift that, like, I feel like I've always put into the relationship. Now I'm seeing the results that, like, I would have liked matched. So, and I don't know if that's even something that we could have vocalized or, like, defined in any stage of our relationship until that point.
Yeah, totally. Who was a bigger family between you and Tucker? Hands
down Tucker.
Tucker, okay.
Yeah, and he's the golden child. Like,
what's the lineup with his siblings? Like, is he?
So he has 2 older siblings. They're twins. So he's the baby.
Okay.
But he's like, so when you're talking about your extended family, he's super close to everybody on both, like, his mom's extended family and his dad's extended family. And like legit, like, he'll just call up his aunts and uncles just casually, and they treat him like their child in addition to the ones that they have. So so that's been really interesting, because I came from a super duper small family. So it wasn't something I was used to or prepared for, and I have no idea how I could have prepared for that.
That's so
at all.
Yeah, I think the whole in-laws thing is very interesting too. Like, I think about that, like, in terms of, like, holidays, like splitting up, like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like, I want to go spend the holidays with my family, but if you're married, you gotta figure it out. You gotta have that whole conversation.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you when you said that you, like, your core family value is family, but like, everybody celebrates everybody's birthday. Do you find your nuclear family leaning to, like, your mom's side or your dad's side only, or are you that cohesive with both sides of your family equally?
So, drama. It's not really. It's actually not drama. But so growing up, we lived in Northern California. My dad only has one sibling, and she and her family and his parents lived in Castaic area. So
that's down here.
Yeah. So it's Southern California. So we would go down very rarely. Like, I think I can remember I can count on one hand all the holidays that we've spent together. I think it was like 1 Easter, like 2 Christmases, because they were so far and my mom's family was so close. It was like naturally we just gravitated towards my mom's family. But on my dad's side, I have 3 cousins, and I'm pretty close with the girl who's like 9 months younger than, or not even, she's 2 months younger than me. So, so we're really
very
close.
That's fun.
And even with her brothers, like I'm still close with them, but definitely growing up was closer with mom's family just because they were like, my grandparents lived like 5 minutes away. And, you know, so like the physical limitations caused it to be my mom's family. So there was never really like argument of where we were going to spend holidays with, because it was like, oh, like we're not going to drive 5 hours on Christmas Eve or like, you know. So I think about that now. Like I'm living down in Southern California. If I meet somebody down in Southern California, their family's probably going to be in Southern California or like in another state even, you know. So I'm going to have to figure out like, ooh.
Yeah, you're going to have to share.
I'm going to have to share, and I'm not good at sharing, Taylor. Yeah.
Juicy.
Yeah. So you and Tucker starting your own family, what were some things that you as an individual, and then like maybe Tucker different, but like you had to figure out like values that you wanted to instill, traditions even that you wanted to implement in your own family?
Yeah, I think that we did go through that exercise. I don't remember if it was before we were married or like while I was pregnant, but we did talk about like what are some things that like we do want to implement or be really intentional about. At the end of the day, like your child is being taught something, right? Like whether you're teaching them or the world's teaching them something, like you need to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
So I think we had like a set of cards or something, like, or you know what? No. Oh my gosh, super embarrassing. So I think it was for our 2nd year wedding anniversary. We went to Palm Springs, previous to having Aves. We tried to do like an overnight trip for every anniversary. So that one was Palm Springs, and I bought these cards on Amazon that were just like couple conversation, like starter cards. And one of the questions was like, what's something from your family of origin that you really appreciated that you would want to bring into your future family? And Tucker's was not quitting. Like he wasn't allowed to quit something, and that wasn't. I think my parents would probably say that I was raised like to not quit as well. But like in hindsight, I'm like, no, you did let me quit some stuff. So, but for him, like quitting wasn't an option. Like if you do something, you follow through. And an example of that was sports. Like he's a really good like team player, and like he's good at getting along with people, and he attributes that to being on a team. Versus me, I was not a sporty person at all. I tried, I attempted. I gave it an earnest effort, but like that's just not me. So I didn't I couldn't relate or empathize to that desire, but I respected it, and I'm like, okay, cool, like for sure. I think for me, my family of origin, and like to this day, there's not they exercise like that. There's nothing ever so bad that you can't come home. Like I never want you to be afraid of like telling me the truth. I never want you to feel like I'm gonna shame you or that I'm gonna like ever leave you or forsake you. So I know it sounds really spiritual, but but like I genuinely believe that about my parents, and there've been times where I've tested it and I can say like they mean that. And so like that's something that I would consider it a success if Avery knew deep down inside that like nothing is so bad that you can't ever come home or you can't tell me or us.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Yeah, I know, I'm tearing up.
I know. That's really sweet. I love that. Speaking of like parenting, like are there, I guess like when I think about like becoming a parent or like thinking about my parents, I'm like, I always remember like growing up in high school, like whenever I have kids, like I'm not going to like do this, like whatever punishment I had just gotten. Are there any, like, I guess, I don't know if the word is, like, disciplinary or, like, things that, you know, you saw your parents do growing up to parent you, as they should and as they do, that you're like, okay, I don't want to do this, or opposite, like I really liked how they handled this situation when I was going crazy, you know, that kind of thing.
No, I mean, I wasn't a kid that got disciplined a lot, just because like I took that real like obedience thing to heart.
Right.
So I didn't.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like that's just a hard question.
I know.
Like,
we'll let Hailey answer that question.
I don't know. I think, I don't know. I don't think I noticed it that much when I was growing up, but now, like, working at a school, it's very interesting. But and like to each their own, you know, like if you do this or if anybody else does it, it's their own parenting style. And I think personalities are different. And so like some things work better for people and some don't. But the soft parenting, I don't know how
Let's
that
talk
works.
about that.
Yes, please.
I'm so interested. No.
No.
Go ahead, Hailey.
No, like they'll literally be a kid like melting down or doing something, and the parents like, oh, it's okay, like blah 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 blah. I'd be like, oh, you know, or like when somebody like if it's like say if some kid smacks a kid and it's like goes to the other kid and it's like, well, it was your fault, or like something like that. It's like so interesting. Whereas like I was raised and like I feel so bad for the kids that I work with, because they know that like I'm not bad cop, but I'm very much like, oh no, we are not doing this today. Like even with my niece, like I love her to pieces, but I'm like, no, sorry, ma'am, we're not gonna throw ourselves on the floor. We need to get up. We need to move on. Like I'm very much like, this is not, like, you know, like when people would be like, my mom gave me that look and I knew immediately that's when I need to stop. Like
yeah, there's the mom look.
Yeah, it's like how I'm going to be, where it's just like, like I get it. Like kids' feelings are valid up until a certain point, but it's also like, we're not just going to act like your kid is the best thing in the world. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't have a kid, so I might think my kid is the best thing in the world when I have one.
Fair.
But it's like, you also have to own up to the fact that like, your kid is going to do things that are not okay. Your kid is not perfect. No one is perfect type of thing. So I don't understand that aspect. And I get sometimes it works for people. And I think it's just like I said, the personalities are different in kids, but it's so interesting to me. At least the ones I've seen, it doesn't look like it's working. But I mean, it could, I don't know.
I don't know. It drives me crazy when like the kid does something and the parents like I think this has happened at church and at like school and stuff.
Disneyland.
Oh, Disneyland's also a big one.
But like the kid will
people
do
are like,
something.
I don't want to deal with it. It's Disneyland.
The kid will do something and the parent will like back the kid's behavior and come at like either the teacher or like, I don't know, whoever's in charge. And it's like, did you not just see what your child just did? Like they're the ones that like I feel like the days of like parents backing teachers in that aspect are like dwindling.
Interesting. What do you think, Taylor? You
look like you're am entirely in accordance with you guys.
Okay.
I mean,
you can do whatever. Yeah.
No. Like I have my soapbox too, and like I don't know. I feel like coming from somebody who does have parenting responsibilities. However, I don't have a toddler, right? So like my kid does have some type of a will that they may or may not express, but they can't verbalize it, right? Yeah. So, I don't know. Like I think I'm really lucky. I recognize I'm really lucky that me and Tucker are on the same page of like, hey, we both realize we don't have all the answers, but at the end of the day, like we're gonna do whatever we need to do to like to make sure our kid's not rude. Like in public, like, you know, so nothing's off the table. And I know that's like super controversial. So, obviously like we're not going to go straight to like, we're going to spank our kid with a belt or anything, but it's like, hey, you know, like things escalate and there's nothing that's off the table.
Yeah.
So.
Did you guys get spanked as kids?
I didn't need to be spanked.
Okay.
But-
Taylor was just
Taylor
such
was
a
a
good
good-
kid.
No, but
golden
if I needed it, it would have escalated
Yeah.
to that. But my mom like told me that it was enough to take away my stuff.
Yeah.
Like that would achieve the desired result.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got spanked very little as a kid, but I remember a couple times, and it was never hard, but I like remember it. But my younger brothers, they stopped. They were like, well, maybe it's because I was more of a rebel. I don't know, but I always give them a hard time. I'm like, why'd you?
Wait, they only spanked you?
They spanked me and the second brother.
Oh.
And then I think maybe the third one, there were a couple instances of spankings. But then the fourth one,
When
it got to Kevin, they were like, well,
Kevin's tried.
we tried.
You can run amok.
So funny.
No, but Kevin's still a really good kid. So, like,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Look, see,
There you go.
that's
maybe he
understandable.
was just better than all of us, you know, as a
That was
toddler.
It. That was it.
It's very possible.
That's true. I definitely, I mean, I think I definitely was spanked as a kid, but I just feel bad for my parents. I was just not a good kid. Like, which I'm glad it changed now. But, yeah, like, defiance was my favorite thing. That was, like, could have been my middle name. But
funny.
I just love to, like, test the waters and just, like, literally be like, this is the line. Hailey's all the way over there. And so I'm glad it's definitely changed a little bit. And sometimes it pokes through.
Stressful.
You might see it.
Yeah, are you scared you're going to get, like, a Hailey
No. Taylor's like, yes. So, but my parents would, like, take things away. That was, like, what.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes it was like, we could take everything away from her. She literally won't care. Like, I don't know what to do.
Did you ever get in those fights with your parents where it was like, we're going to take this away from you, and you're like, fine. And they're like, fine, you're grounded for another week. I'm like, okay. And, like, they would keep going until, like, you elicit a reaction. And then when you elicit a reaction, they take another thing away from you. And you're like, what do you want from me? Like,
No, yeah. Me and my dad would go at it.
this is what it was
all the
like,
time.
Taylor.
Oh my
My
god.
dad, like, he's
Taylor's
like,
eyes
I'm
are
the
just
adult, I get the last word, and I was like, no, I'm Hailey Bird, I get the last word, and so it would just be constant, like, yeah, my punishments would be like, okay, like, at first it'd be like, you have no phone for, like, 2 days, and then at the end of it, it'd be like, Hailey doesn't have a phone till, like, 2025, like, I don't know what's going on.
Hailey still doesn't have her phone.
Yeah,
It's
still,
fine.
I still don't know.
I remember, sorry that we're going off topic,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
remember like 21, no, not 21. I had to be like 19 or 20, but I was like, I would still come home from college and I would spend the summer with my parents. And I remember I must have been like on my period or something. Like I was just in a mood.
It is what it is.
You know, like something was happening. And I got in like my mom and I don't fight that often, but I think my room was just like blown up because all my stuff was everywhere and she'd asked me to clean. And she's like, well, I'm going to take your phone away. And I was like, okay. Like, it was just like I hadn't been punished like that. And because I was literally in college. And I was like, this is weird because I'm an adult. But it was, and I think that was the funny transition from like, okay, parent child to like still parent, but also like more like friend, not friend zoned. I don't know what that word is.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, you
Like
know,
almost like comrade.
Yeah.
But not really because
And-
there's
yeah.
still that respect factor.
yeah. So that, like, literally that moment, I think, was when we changed. I was like, okay, I need to respect my mom so that she doesn't have to, like, we do this with me anymore. So that was, like, a funny moment.
Okay, so let's pause. Let's
Okay.
take that story.
Okay.
And I'm curious because I don't have an answer. I'm wondering what you guys think. So one thing that I'm learning
Yeah.
is that generally when you're fighting with somebody you care about, whether it's my husband or like a friend or my parents or my sibling or whatever,
Sure.
it's never usually what you're fighting about, right? Like that's not
Probably.
the problem.
Yeah.
So like Tucker doesn't empty out the dishwasher and I'm just like in a fit, right? It's not that. It's because I'm like, why? Like I feel underappreciated or
Yeah.
whatever. So what would it look like from a parent's perspective? Like if you didn't clean your room, like could it have been an actual incident, or do you think your mom was feeling something else and that just happened to be?
She was totally, I think in that moment, I think she was either feeling underappreciated or underrespected or like not respected by me. And what else? Yeah, I think, coming home from college, every summer I would have a pretty big attitude, I think, because it was an adjustment for me. Like, I can adapt pretty well, but like in the moment, or like in that like moment, it takes me a second, and I think I get a little snappy, I get a little sassy, and so I think in that moment, that's what it was, is like, so it's kind of cool learning the like flip side and looking at it from a parent's perspective. So yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah. I think the one thing that parenthood has taught me, like almost instantly, like second Avery came out of the womb, I was like, my eyes were opened. And it is that, like, I believe without a shadow of a doubt that my parents are not perfect.
Yeah.
By any means.
Right.
They've made their mistakes, so have I. But they did the best with what they had.
Yeah.
Right? And like that's so hard to grasp as a child, as an under 18.
Yeah.
And even like early adulthood, I feel like our culture is big on like, oh, parent trauma, I inherited this because my parents did this, da da da. And you're like, it wasn't until I became a parent that I was like, wow, they really did their best.
Yeah.
And I'm over here parading, being like, I'm like this because my mom did this or my dad did this. And it's like, that's embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But wisdom is not granted to the youth, is it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just really hard too, because you're like, parents are humans too. Like, you're a parent. Like, maybe someday Hailey and I will be parents, and I already know I'm not perfect. I already know I'm probably gonna mess up with my kids. So it's like, okay, like looking back, like we everyone has to have grace for parents and the whole childhood thing. So
yeah, I think I was reading something the other day that said, like, don't be so hard on your parents. It's their first time living life too. And I was like, bro.
yeah.
That just made me so sad. I was like, that made me want to just like go back and like smack myself as like a little kid and be like, you literally were the worst. I mean, granted they had 2 kids after me, so I didn't ruin everything, but or their outlook on children. But it's like you don't think about stuff like that. So it's like so interesting being like, this is their first time being a parent.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing. Like, they're learning as they go. Like,
Yeah.
So it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because as kids, you don't think about it. You just think
know.
like,
Has there been anything as a mom, or like as you and Tucker are parents now, that like, I mean, like, I'm sure, like, talking with Tucker, like, I'm sure you talked a lot about like the kind of parents you want to be or the kind of wife you want to be, but as like you get in, like as Avery is born or as you get pregnant, were there things that came up or that come up that you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I wish I had thought about that before becoming a parent?
I think I'll be super honest.
Sure.
Breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Give a lot more attention to that. Like,
Okay.
should you like birth children, or like should you choose to breastfeed? I think that's something that, I don't know, in the back of my head I thought was like natural, like, oh, instinctual, like, cavemen did it. Like, it should be.
Yeah, why
oh
not?
my gosh, no. Like
Yeah.
that was by far like the hardest part of my parenting journey.
Yeah. It sound like I get like I think shows make it look really easy, but like thinking about it, to me it sounds hard.
It is.
Sorry, no, you're
Yeah.
It is, and it's really painful. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think it wasn't or whatever,
Sure.
but like, Hailey, you talking about like it being the first time being your mom. Also, I guess the flip side of that question, like,
Sure.
is there anything that, or your initial question was like anything that was like harder, I guess. Opposite.
Or
Or different. Pregnancy was a lot different as well.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be the worst thing ever, like walking to my death, like this sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like that for me.
What about birth?
Wasn't like that either.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, so like if there's anything that I tell people, specifically women, like moving forward, it's like, yeah, like I feel like our culture in the United States very much hypes up like birth is miserable, pregnancy is miserable, it's going to be a terrible time. And it wasn't for me. And when people would ask me how I was doing when I was pregnant, I wouldn't shy away from being honest. And I'd just say like, okay, yeah, like honestly, it wasn't that bad. I didn't have any morning sickness. And more women started telling me like, oh, that was my experience too. Like, I think our culture definitely like in wanting to normalize like a lot of pain, maybe like it gets out
like,
there,
yeah.
and there's not enough good stories to back it up. So like I share my experience to be like, don't be afraid of it, guys. Like, you might have a terrible time. So sorry. Like, at least you know what to expect. But and the reason why I say that I'm so passionate about it is because I was waiting for the other shoe to drop my entire pregnancy. And like, that's not a way to live.
Yeah.
Like I was waiting. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop during my labor. Like, oh, it's going to get worse than this. Oh no. Like people would literally say like, I think I was 8 weeks pregnant. Like, oh no, I haven't gotten any morning sickness yet. Like, oh, just wait. So I would wait and nothing happened.
That is so, yeah.
So like, don't be scared of it. Like, obviously be just open. Like, it you know, it is part of the sacrifice to like get morning sickness, to feel the fatigue, to feel that. But don't be surprised if your body loves it too. Like, we were kind of made to do this.
Kind of were. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
That's cool. Yeah, like that's I don't know if you have a second piece of advice, because that's kind of a piece of advice, but like one of our last questions is like, do you have any advice for like younger Taylor, like pre Tucker, pre Avery, like going into thinking about wanting to get married, wanting to be a mom?
Every decision you make matters. Younger Taylor at age 20, like, I think even a couple of days ago, I was looking back at my life and thinking about the things that I chose to do that were hard. Yeah. Like, and they led me here. Yeah. Like I'm living my best life, guys. Like, I'll be honest with you.
I love it.
Like Taylor 10 years ago, like if you told her that she was gonna be married, like have a pretty good, like decent career, like have a child, like she wouldn't have believed you, because she was like mentally struggling and feeling like the decisions that she was making weren't fun, or like weren't what, you know, she should have been doing at that age. And like obviously there's stuff that I could have done differently that would have set me up even better, but like I worked hard for this. Like guys, dating, super important. The decisions that you make, like even, you know, if you're just doing stuff on a whim or like whatever, like learn from it. Obviously, like don't regret it, but at the same time, like what you do matters. Like we didn't even get into this, but me and Tucker, I was Tucker's first girlfriend. There was and only girlfriend, I guess, or only serious girlfriend. And there's so much baggage that he didn't have to bring into our relationship, but because I had already dated somebody, I had to bring it in. So like our relationship was a little bit less complicated because we weren't trying to untangle the stuff that he was trying to bring in, or that he could have brought in. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not saying like don't date, like like
be intentional.
Just be intentional about it. So like, don't regret your mistakes, learn from them, but be really intentional with how you live your life.
That's really good advice. Thanks, Taylor. This has been like a really good, like heartfelt episode, I think. So thanks for talking with us. We're gonna go into the POV section of this episode.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay.
I'm gonna get crucified.
I'm very excited.
It.
That's the best kind of POVs.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you two, because I was gonna gun for T Swift. No me gusta T Swift. I literally sat in a room on Spotify, listened to Taylor Swift, all of her albums, like when I was in college, because I was like, today, I'm gonna be a T Swift fan. Didn't work.
Why?
I walked out. I don't know.
Juicy.
I just don't
like none of her music.
Maybe like a Teardrops on the guitar, like
I can get behind
2009.
that.
But that's because I got her for free on LimeWire. So
Interesting.
But so I wasn't gonna gun for that, but there you go.
Okay.
But my hot take was also no me gusta Ted Lasso. So
I keep hearing, like, people keep telling me to watch it, but you don't like it.
No, and I don't know what it is. Like, you know, T Swift is America's sweetheart. Ted Lasso is another one of those, like, apple pie,
You're going against the grain, Taylor.
Yeah, and it's not for lack of trying. Like, Tucker watches it.
I appreciate you trying.
Yeah. I put effort into it. It's just haven't come on.
Okay, Taylor Swift is not everybody's cup of tea. I think the only thing I will say is, like, you have to appreciate, like, her songwriting and her, like, ability to, like, make as much music as she does, because she makes an insane amount of
I respect her
music.
as a businesswoman.
Yeah.
Like, who could put out their music a second time and still sell out?
Yeah.
I respect it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
See,
That's what
there's
she's
nothing
doing
wrong
somehow.
with that. Like, I respect the not liking Taylor Swift. It's just not your vibe, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Thank
But it's
you
a hot
for
take.
accepting that, because
Yeah.
usually that gets a lot more, oh, Taylor,
Well,
oh,
but you
what are
didn't
doing?"
say, what you didn't say is I hate Taylor Swift. You said I don't like her music. You know, like that's very different
your
because my
opinion, yeah.
brothers hate Taylor Swift.
That's unnecessary.
like,
That's
that
a little
Do
extreme.
they
It's
actually
unnecessary.
hate Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
Or do they hate Taylor Swift because they know you love Taylor Swift?
They hate Taylor Swift
Ding, ding,
because
ding.
growing up,
Don't
the only music I would play on the piano were Taylor Swift songs. And so imagine me learning a Taylor Swift song over and over and over again. I understand their hatred. I understand it.
Seems like they just hate her music.
And
don't
they
hate
hate
her
me, but it's
personally.
fine.
Juicy.
Juicy.
That seems dramatic, but
Hey, Taylor's like,
no, I appreciate some drama, so don't get me wrong.
Haley, what's your POV?
My POV is I think that people who drive in the car with dead silence are crazy.
Interesting.
So it sounds like you have a problem with silence?
I mean, maybe. I just don't understand how you just drive in the car
Yeah.
with nothing on.
Okay, question, because Isaac asked this question, so shout out to Isaac.
Music.
Imagine you're laying in bed
Mm-hmm.
with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to bed. All of a sudden, you wake up to a phone call. Your partner is missing. It's a phone call that says, I have so-and-so. They're with me. Don't call anybody. Come get them with, like, the ransom money, basically. Your partner's been kidnapped. The location is 30 minutes away. As you're driving there, are you listening to music or is it dead silent in the car?
I'm putting music on.
This stressed me out. This stressed me
I'm
out so
putting music
bad.
on. I'd put Fast and Furious on. That's the
Somebody said that they would put the Mario Kart theme song
yeah,
on.
that was yeah. Tokyo Drift. They put that song on. That would get you in the groove to just be like, pedal to the metal. I gotta go somewhere. You can't listen to like. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe in the moment I'd be like, I gotta go. Like I can get both, but I feel like that's a completely different story.
Yeah, okay.
People are just like,
but
waking up
those
and
are
they're,
two
like,
songs. That's
taking
going
a
to last
drive.
you
Their,
like,
commute is like an hour and a half.
yeah, that's weird.
An hour, and they're like, just stuck in traffic.
That's psychopath.
But then again, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're not crazy. It's just for a special breed. I'll say that.
That's.
It's just not for me.
It's not for me either. Do you drive with music?
I drive with podcasts.
Okay.
I see. Yeah,
something.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
audiobooks.
Yeah.
Fun too.
See, you're not just sitting in the car.
Dead
With
silence.
just
If I'm
your
having a
thoughts.
rough time, sometimes my thoughts are the only music
Really?
that
Well,
I
sometimes
need.
I'll pray,
Shove 'em
right?
down.
Like,
Shut it down. I'll put on some like
I'm, like,
upbeat music as
in
I'm like
autopilot.
sobbing. I'm like.
he's like, stop crying, go back in the eyes.
This was mine at church. If you see me doing this at church,
I feel like I've definitely seen you in small group do that. But he was like, that was a lot.
Okay.
oh, we know things.
Mine is hair over the eyes. Like, just don't look at my eyes. Don't look at my,
Juicy.
My
you
red
opened
eyes.
Sunglasses.
no, literally. Yeah, I've done that. I've walked
wow.
out of church with sunglasses on. Like,
You're like, I gotta go.
How
Bye,
vulnerable
guys.
of you, Brie.
listen, it was a rough time. There were people around that I didn't want to see me. Yeah.
What about you, Brie?
This is a weird one. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird one. I don't think I can take
Any more weird ones from you?
In this day and age, as an adult in America, I'm talking about America, not any other country, it's impossible to get lost. You have no excuse if you're lost. If you're lost, it's just impossible. You can't be lost.
What about like if
If
you're
I
in
took your
Yosemite
phone
or
away
something?
and threw you in the middle of somewhere, in the middle of a city that you've never been to.
I'd figure it out. Because you know what? Somebody else has a phone.
What about all
No,
the
you
people
can't
that
use- you
die
can't use a phone.
out in those wilderness parks when they're hiking?
Yeah, I feel like that's completely different. There's like acres and acres.
Then you
and
did it to
acres of
yourself.
land.
You know where you are. You're not lost. Like, you know where you are.
They know like where they are, but not like in vicinity. But they
So
don't
how
know.
do you define getting lost?
Yeah.
Or being lost.
Like not knowing where you are.
All right, Brie, we're going to blindfold you,
So if
and
I'm
we're
going
going to drop
to-
you in the middle
Yeah.
of Yosemite, and with
I
no
know that I'm
technology,
in
no
Yosemite.
compass, and you have to figure out how to
I'd
get out.
see half. I'm not talking about not knowing where to go. I'm talking about you know where you are.
What about if you're kidnapped?
Well,
don't know where you
that's
are then.
different.
No, because apparently you're supposed to know where you are.
Okay, under normal circumstances.
Well, you need to clarify.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Asterisk. Under normal circumstances, as an adult in America, it's impossible to get lost.
So you're talking about, like, be like, hey,
Drugs.
Brie, where...
What if you're high?
Juicy.
Again, you did that to yourself.
What if someone drugged you?
But you didn't say
What if someone
if you
drugged
did-
your
yeah.
drink?
like that is not a normal. Listen to the asterisk.
That is very average.
That is
Or
not a
average.
normal circuit.
Not
Getting
average.
drugged.
Not
average.
Yes.
Sorry.
Do you know how, like, not saying it's a normal circumstance, but say, like, you're out, you know, you go into a party or
And you
whatever,
accidentally eat-
No, someone puts something in your drink and
I'm not-
takes you somewhere.
I'm not dumb. I'm not gonna get drugged.
not dumb.
It's not-
You're
it's not
mentally
uncommon.
not there.
That's better than average.
I keep my hand over the drink.
Okay, say...
Not if you're
What if it's a friend? What
Yeah,
if it's a
sloppy.
friend? Someone you know that you thought you could trust didn't, you know?
I
I
trust all my
think that
friends.
opinion, that hot take
Listen.
is pretty ungracious.
Listen,
Quite interesting.
it is. I don't have any grace for.
Period. No grace.
So
No,
you're telling me, like, if
that's
someone
not
were to
what
be-
I
if you were to be
said.
like, hey, where are you at right now? Like, city-wise, state-wise, and then be like, I don't know where I am.
You could be like,
They would have to figure. They need to figure it
what
out.
if you're like, I'm in North America? Like anybody
Yeah, I'd be
can
like,
say
"Well,
that.
They know where they are.
No.
I think I'm in North
You-
America.
It's down to the city. Everybody knows where they are. You can tell by the street signs. Hailey taught me that.
And then what age?
18.
By 18. So,
Like
18.
ability.
Huh?
What about ability?
Okay.
how old are you? And I was the one that taught you about the street signs. So
Bree's
you're a
like, I
hypocrite. You're a
regret this.
hypocrite.
Fine.
Pick a new one. This is
Erase this entire one. Like,
You want a new POV?
No, we don't have any time. But what I'm saying is, next time, you know, actually, like, go through all the steps before you decide to, like, present this.
Taylor, you missed my, like, I don't know how many episodes it was ago, but, like, I had a very chaotic POV about being
talk to her.
president.
Oh, that one was juicy.
Yeah, that was a juicy one.
That one was so
That one got, like,
The
100 views.
past 3
Gotta
or 4
rewind.
that you've
Yeah.
had have just been, like, so out of this world.
I'll fix it for next time. Over Christmas, I'll think about some more.
Yeah.
Because
you
my
need to.
list is dwindling.
You need to.
Because I was going to go for this one.
do you have a suggestion list? Like,
Whenever I think of things, I write it down.
no, but like asking the viewers, like,
Be good.
like what's a POV?
We should have a viewer POV. That would
That'd
be
be
a good
juicy.
like
one.
a submission.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Taylor.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
do that.
Be good.
All right. Well, anyways, guys, this has been another episode. This time with Taylor Ring.
Taylor Ring.
Taylor Ring.
Taylor
West Ring.
Taylor West Ring? It's not hyphenated.
No,
is
it's not. That's just my Instagram handle. In case you want to follow me.
That's where I was like,
We'll put it in the bio.
oh, that's funny.
No, I don't care. I just thought it was funny. You guys set me up. It was
I got
stupid.
50 new followers today.
We're not that powerful,
Sorry.
Haley.
5.
We barely have
Everybody
100.
Everybody else who watches already knows.
Yeah, they probably are mostly already
Really, your
following
grandpa
them and they're
followed
following
me.
me.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
That's funny. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. We will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.